it's not built for the weak, you know. It's a trade, or it's an industry that the trades are, you know, dying. And as what I've seen is people our age aren't really doing them anymore. And it's really a really detrimental thing to what we got going on, because everything is involved with this. I mean, you got to any new buildings getting built, any new roads getting paved, any new, you know, anything that goes on within society, it's built around construction, really.
Absolutely.
And built by construction. So, you know, it's tough to kind of, you know, see it kind of almost be dying just because it is hard. But, you know, it's something that we've actually tried to use our social media with to get more people into, you know, hey, get into the trades. You know, you can, if you're not sure what to go to high school, get into the trades. You'll make probably a lot more money than any of your buddies that are going to school. And you know, you'll get to learn a hands-on skill that a lot of people won't necessarily get to do.
Welcome to The Breakthrough with Stephen Houston, the show that takes you behind the scenes with successful entrepreneurs, real estate investors, and other movers and shakers in the business world. In each episode, we'll sit down with our guests to explore their personal and professional journeys, including the challenges they faced, the breakthrough moments that propelled them to success, and the strategies and the tactics they used to get there. Get inspired by new ideas and strategies and get to know our guests on a deeper level. Join us for candid conversations, powerful insights, and plenty of breakthrough moments. Please help us grow by subscribing and sharing the podcast, and welcome to the show. Hey everyone, welcome to another awesome episode of The Breakthrough with Stephen Houston. Today we're diving deep into the world of real estate and construction with two brothers who've turned their landscaping roots into a groundbreaking business. Get ready to be inspired as we chat with Carter and Larson, the dynamic duo known as the Helikson Brothers. From mowing lawns to crafting unique homes, their journey is nothing short of a modern-day success story. In this episode, we'll trace their path from teenage entrepreneurs in landscaping to becoming key players in the real estate and construction scene. They'll share their insights into their innovative design approach, their beginnings in house flipping, and their hurdles they've overcame. Also, the Helikson Brothers spill the secrets on how they leverage social media platforms like TikTok and YouTube to showcase their projects and connect with a wider audience. Join us as we uncover the keys to their success, the importance of staying focused, and get a sneak peek into their future ventures. This is The Breakthrough with Stephen Houston, the podcast where we break down barriers in the real estate world. Let's dive in. Hey guys.
How you doing?
Good, man. Thanks for jumping on. I'm glad that I got both of you. I didn't know if this was going to be the team, but I'm super excited that you're both on it today. This is great. I want to start by saying that about a month ago, I reached out to you guys to get you on the podcast. And part of the reason is one of the videos that I saw that you guys put out that was insane. You know, I knew it was a real estate related video. I know it was about construction, but just the AI and how you guys structured that piece of content, it was out of this world. Not only that, one thing I did notice about it that resonated with me was it's something that I typically don't see out there. And it's not for everybody, but it's for the right people. And that's, you know, that is for sure. Why don't you give us a little background on you guys?
Yeah, for
Tell me
sure.
what you do.
Yeah, so I'm Carter and this is Larson. And so we've grown up just always loving real estate, always just really into that sort of stuff. You know, recently have kind of gotten into the social media sort of thing. But we started out a long time ago. I started a landscaping company when I was, 13, 14 years old, did that all the way through high school. Once Larson was old enough, he started ripping it with me. That put me through the first little bit of college. I ended up dropping out of school because I was not into college. And then we started ramping up all of our business around here, building fences, doing concrete, that sort of thing, and saved up a bunch of money and bought our first flip house. And me and Larson just kind of did it one step at a time and YouTube tutorials if we didn't know what we were doing, and just kind of figured it out one thing after another, and ended up doing really well. And got I wouldn't say lucky, but got blessed with some decent market conditions. And then from there we just haven't looked back, and we've just kind of said, screw it, we're going full bore into the new construction, flips, real estate, kind of all the construction side of things, and really amping up on that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it's great. Who does what in the business?
So what I do is I handle all the job sites. So I'm on the job site every day. I handle our employees. I'm telling them what to do. I'm running to the store if we need to get something. I'm basically getting our plan dialed in on the job site for that day, make sure everything's running efficiently.
Yeah. So Larson's kind of there doing the day-to-day, kind of making sure that we're following our schedule and everything. I'm in the back end. That's what I do. I handle the more of the business side of things. I handle the schedule. I handle the books, the payroll, the insurances, the licenses, all of the stuff that kind of goes in, along with new place acquisition. So when we're looking for new deals, when I got to go out and do quotes for customers, kind of just all the kind of other stuff that doesn't necessarily get seen. And so it works out really nicely because me and Larson can do one person's job really well because we have two people. And so it's definitely a huge benefit that a lot of other owner operators and kind of people don't have. And it's allowed us to really grow a lot quicker and be a lot more efficient and do our job a lot better because we have the two of us together doing it.
Yeah, that's great. And from what it sounds like too, you both have very opposite skill sets, which can merge together, which is a big key. You don't want to be the same skill sets because then you kind of have a hole in your game, so to speak.
Exactly.
Not at all. Yeah, you definitely don't want that. But we do still like to work together on some things. Like we both love designing the house together. So that's a big component that
that's awesome.
Together doing that. Like, we love designing the house. Our social media, we do that together. So if any have any ideas, we'll bounce back with each other. So there's part of the business that we'll work together. And obviously we have our strengths and our weaknesses. And, if I have a weakness, I'll pass it to Carter because he'll be good at it. If he's not good at something, he'll pass it off to me because I'll be good at it. So we try to bounce it off each other, play to our strengths and our weaknesses.
That's a perfect way to do it. Who's the general contractor? Do you have a license that under for both of you or?
No, so I actually do hold the license. So I got it fairly a while ago, actually. And I think at the time, Larson actually wasn't 18. You got to be 18 in the state of Oregon to get your license. And so I did get the license, and it's really nice though, because I can hold the license, pretty much do everything. Larson can be on site and be fully in charge of everything and fully, basically the safety manager, because we have to have somebody who's responsible for, the safety of everybody and all that sort of good stuff. And also our dad works with us too, and he's OSHA trained on all that sort of good stuff. So we kind of have a family business going on with it. But that works out really well. So so I hold the license on that end of things. And it really just allows me to kind of, when I'm not necessarily there, I can do the trainings and the continuing education and all the kind of the stuff that is really kind of a pain in the ass, but you got to do it to kind of keep your stuff going.
And you're the agent too?
I am. Yep. So I'm the agent also. That very recently, within the last 6 months or so, we kind of got tired of paying so much money for everybody else selling our stuff when we finished up or buying our stuff or whatever. And so I was like, you know what? Let's just do it. And we were going to both do it, but then we kind of again decided, let's take advantage of our having two people. And we don't need to both have it.
It doesn't really make sense. Yeah.
It doesn't help.
One's enough. Mm-hmm. One's enough. And I think it's just a good flow to have. You're basically like the project manager, boots on the ground, making sure things are getting done on a daily basis, which is huge in construction.
Yeah.
I know that firsthand from, we invest, I live in California and we invest out of state, and you got to micromanage contractors, and you don't know what's getting done. If you don't have somebody that can overlook your contractor or just make sure that your subs are doing what they need to be doing, things go sideways quick and cost you money.
Oh yeah. People have tried to take advantage of us because we'll see that we're both pretty young. And at the start we were a little naive. We thought everybody was doing a job, but you learn quickly, I guess, because we've definitely had employees take advantage of us, try to, not work here, just try to basically collect a paycheck without doing anything. Pretty soon you learn. And so definitely learning from that, definitely learn that people will take advantage of, you got to be on the jobs every day, being on people, make sure stuff's getting done.
Absolutely. 100%. And, over time, when you start to put years into this and you got a huge network and you got 20, 30 properties going, because you really don't know where this could potentially go, especially from what I see online. You just don't know. I mean, you probably have a vision of what you'd like to do, but 5 years from now, it could be a completely different vision, honestly. but people will then start to gravitate to want to work with you because they're going to know they're going to have guaranteed work for a full year and then some. And those are going to be your, the top tier subs because they're going to do great work because you're going to keep them employed. And that's a big problem, I think, in construction is you get a lot of bad apples and they turn and burn.
It's been something we've dealt with. And I mean, it's very hard because that's kind of one other thing that I try to do is, I'm always looking for new people, especially when we're really busy and we're kind of in our slow time right now. But thankfully we've found a core group of guys that have been really been awesome for us and done a lot of good stuff and trustworthy and all that stuff. But yeah, it's tough. It's one of the hardest, industries to find, people that are willing to stick around if they're solid or, kind of, you just get people bouncing around all the time or people with issues, whether it's alcohol or drugs or whatever it is, it's a very tough industry to have solid, just, people that are, on top of it and that sort of thing. So
why is that?
I think it's because it kind of sucks it a lot of times, like it's tough. It's a lot of work. And especially around here, obviously I'm sure you guys get a little better weather, but 4 or 5 months out of the year, we're getting a lot of rain and we do a lot of stuff outside, so it's not built for the weak, it's a trade or it's an industry that the trades are, dying. And as what I've seen is people our age aren't really doing them anymore. And it's really a really detrimental thing to what we got going on because everything is involved with this. I mean, you got to any new buildings getting built, any new roads getting paved, any new, anything that goes on within society, it's built around construction, really.
Absolutely.
And built by construction. So, it's tough to kind of, see it kind of almost be dying just because it is hard. But, it's something that we've actually tried to use our social media with to get more people into, hey, get into the trades. You can, if you're not sure what to go to high school, get into the trades. You'll make probably a lot more money than any of your buddies that are going to school. And you'll get to learn like a hands-on skill that a lot of people won't necessarily get to do.
And that a robot maybe not replace.
Exactly. Yeah. And something that AI can't do and something that, you actually need a human to do it,
Yeah, absolutely. And I think too, especially with like the trades like electrical, plumbing, it might not sound very sexy, but boy, if you can get the right business around you and learn the business, boy, it will pay you and then some. I have a lot of friends that are plumbers, run a plumbing company. They're multimillionaires.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
And they do other things too. So that's just one of that's like the day-to-day cash flow business, so to speak. But then they have other business on top of that.
Totally.
And I think people just don't understand.
It's like, I know people that, I've gotten to know, become friends within the industry, whether it's, all sorts of different trade companies that are out driving G-Wagons and Raris, so it's like, it might not be the prettiest of work, but I find it to be a little more satisfactory just because I can use my hands to do something. Obviously Larson is on site a little more than me and he's probably out swinging the hammer maybe a little more than me. But even when I get a chance to get out there, it's something great. Plus it's physically, you're moving your body and it's healthy for you too, for the most part, as long as you're not hurting your back too much. Yeah. It's healthy for you too, so I think there's a lot of benefits that a lot of people don't necessarily see.
Especially the older ones.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right?
No,
don't you notice that? Well, here's the thing. I know for a fact, and I'm going to say it as a fact, that you guys could have a plumbing company, electrical company, any kind of company in construction, and you would absolutely crush your competition. Just on the fact that you guys put out valuable content, whether it's edgy or funny, you're doing something that 95% of the old timers don't do.
Mm-hmm.
And that brings that audience to you, especially if you're educating. I know you could do that with plumbing as well. I know it's not a sexy thing, but you could have your plumbers going out and filming really crazy things that are going on in plumbing. And, people will follow it for whatever reason they do, but then you're top of mind. And it's just a different way to build a business this day. And like how your guys are doing it right now. Look we're on a conversation right now. You're on my podcast, and that came from a 1 minute reel where you were dropping F-bombs about the Karen next door.
That's what I was going to ask
Dude,
you. I was going to
crazy.
I was gonna ask what video that you had actually seen, because we put out a few different ones, but it was Karen. Okay, I was curious. Yeah, that one. Yeah.
And the first thing I see it, and I'm like, oh, these boys are taking it there. This is and I get it. And I also resonated with the walkthrough one you did when you were just dropping all these crazy comments through that. And it's things that most agents would never do, ever, because they'd be too afraid of their seller or the buyers or, whatever their image online, whatever the case may be. But most of them would say that behind closed doors.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Like that's what I found. Larson actually wrote the AI voice Karen one. So he wrote that one, so he gets credit for that. But it's funny because, most people, 90+% of people are totally normal people who talk like, we might talk on camera and might put out there, and, for the people that aren't, and that would become offended by it, I don't want to work for them. We don't want to work for them, because we want to work for people that are going to be good we're going to be good for them, but they're also going to be good for us. And that's what a lot of people in this industry don't realize, is that we're not just working for you. I mean, it has to be a good relationship both ways, because, we've taken jobs before, as far as construction jobs, go really in the early days, more like, smaller jobs, where people, we took the jobs because, we don't want to turn down work, whatever. But I kind of knew just from the start the customer was going to be a pain in the ass for X, Y, or Z reasons, but we kind of ignore some of the red flags of people and just say, hey, well, it's work, it's money, it's whatever. And we kind of do it. And then we realize, we get into it, it's a total pain in the ass, and it's really sucks. And it becomes a nightmare that just kind of tumbles into more problems. So, not only are they looking for contractors as far as the contracting side of things, but we're looking for good customers. We can't just work to work. We have to make sure it's going to be beneficial to, the both of us and the company and everything like that.
So how has that been working out for you guys now that you've been putting out content and it blew up? We can say that. Are you getting contacted by homeowners, new buyers? Like who's reaching out to you right now? And what does that conversation look like when they do reach out to you guys? That's what I want to know.
And a lot from our ads, I've seen a lot of people wanting siding, a lot of fences, some home builds. And it's honestly, we get a few around here, but we get from all around the country. People are asking us to fly I got one guy asking us to fly to South Dakota. One guy asking us to go to San Diego. And we'd love to do that, but right now we just obviously, can't get too much going on here. But definitely the social media has helped our business a lot. We got a lot of people hitting us up around here, especially saying, hey, can you come give us a bid here? We want this done. We want this done. And so the social media has definitely elevated our business a bunch, I would say.
Yeah, it has to. I mean, just from looking at it from, a bird's eye view and knowing that industry. My brother is a contractor for probably about 20 years. And then he retired and became a city inspector. So, I know that industry. I've seen where it's going now. And just what I saw from you guys, I went, okay, they're going to blow up, and they're probably going to have some ups and downs with it too. Because of just like what you just said about everybody reaching out, you're going to have to learn how to say no a lot. Do you know what I mean? To stay hyper focused on the mission, because you guys are kind of, does that make sense?
No, you're 100% right. I mean, that's kind of where we've been trying to, balance everything. And it's been kind of tough because, we've had a lot of different things, reaching out, people reaching out, us trying to balance, still working, still making sure we're taking care of the next steps, are doing our due diligence on everything. But yeah, you're totally right on that end of things. It's definitely a balancing act for sure.
So besides managing subs and making sure people are doing what they're doing, what other problems have you been running into lately?
I would say, it's really a balancing. I mean, Larson and I are, we consider us very, for the age, very, knowledgeable about everything, but everybody's learning new things every day. I mean, I have, people that are in the industry that I go, get lunch with or go get a beer with that are doing business for 30 plus years. And every single day they're running into stuff that's new. I mean, the city of Eugene is one of our biggest struggles in the permitting and that sort of thing. We have a really rough, issue with that, and hopefully, they're not hearing any of this, but they're a big pain in my ass, and that's one thing again that I deal with kind of on the back end of things. And for example, we do these things called stormwater planters here because we get so much rain, and so any additions that you do to houses or any new construction builds, any rainwater that comes off of these buildings has to be filtered into this essentially planter box that has a certain type of plants and a certain amount of rock and dirt and all this other, little details. And then before it can actually go to the street. So it has to be filtered through these plants and rocks before it can actually go to the street. And it's like, it adds, $15,000 to a project cost, and the city could care less because they're not paying for it, but they're going to come out and, check it 10 times and whatever, XYZ. So, it's things like that. It's things with the city, I think, have been a huge problem for us. The learning curve of that into things. I'd never done a lot of this as of, a couple of, year and a half ago, 2 years ago, whatever. And so learning a lot of that stuff was a big learning curve for us, was, kind of how to do that and finding the ways to go about that and, the most efficient way.
When was it implemented?
This was in the last 4 or 5 years, the last
Okay.
5 years. Yeah. Pretty recently.
Yeah. So every time you do a new build, or you have to do so is it only for new builds, or what are they doing for existing?
No, so it's anything over. So if I got a house that we're doing a flip on and we say, hey, we want to build a ADU on it, or we want to do a master bath addition or something. And if it's over a certain amount of square feet and over a certain amount of lot size, then they're going to make you add that to the property because of the impervious area that you're creating with this new building part. It's, to me, it seems really, really dumb, but I'm sure they got some sort of reasoning for it.
Hey, you're not alone. I'm in San Jose, California. Let's
leave
it at that.
I'm sure. The West Coast with how they handle it seems like some of the city rulings I've heard, just is a nightmare. I've got a couple of buddies that are down in California too that do the same sort of stuff, and it just does not seem like a whole lot of fun. That's for sure. No,
you just have to learn how to play the game. Yeah, I think it's all it comes down to at points. We're getting ready to flip a property in this part of San Jose called Willow Glen, and the permits, they're short staff at the city, and permits can take, anywhere from 6 to 8 months for the most part. And I just stayed in such good communication with our architect, and we've just been moving as quick as we possibly can. It seems like we're going in the right direction, but he sent me a message a couple days ago and said, hey, the reviewer is a third party, and this is good news. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. So basically they're outsourcing the permit review process to a third party to speed it up.
Well, I guess that's positive.
I think that's a positive. I think that's what they're doing. I'm going to find out, but yeah, we hear the stories. We see it with our clients. Timelines are just blown out of the water, which makes it tough. If you're doing any type of flip with hard money, you're carrying costs. So I don't know how it is out in you. How long does it take to do? Let's just say you're adding 400 square feet and you're going to flip a property. What's the timeline look like for permits?
We're looking at usually about 3 weeks to a month to get plan review, and then, a week or two to do revisions, and then, another week or two after that to get it submitted. But that's saying you already have plans taken care of and plans ready to roll. So, that's the biggest thing is when we get a property, we have to have our architect ready to go 6 months ahead. I mean, we're working on projects that we are already planning on doing in the spring with the architect right now, so that we're not waiting on that. Cause that's kind of the biggest thing is, and the city for the most part around here seems to approve stuff fairly easily. You know, there's not a ton of
Yeah,
revision.
that's good.
But you know, that's kind of just, again, part of my job is just planning and staying ahead of the game, keeping on top of stuff and going from there, you know. So it's kind of how we try to, you know, keep on top of the ball.
Do both you guys live close to each other?
Yeah. So we're actually building our house right now. So we're actually living together right now.
Oh, cool.
So we spend a lot of time together, probably more than we want at certain points in times. But yeah, we're actually building one of our projects that we just bought. We're building for a property, for personal property for us. And then we'll end up turning into a rental down the road, but building personal property for us right now.
Yeah, that's great. What are you building? What's the bedroom count, bathroom, and are you doing an ADU? What are you doing on it?
So we are doing an ADU. It's a 4-bed, 2.5 bath at the main house, and that 2-bed, 1-bath as the ADU. And then we're either figure out if we want to do an Airbnb, you know, short or rental. We're still figuring all that stuff out right now, but because we're just in the building stage. But yes, it'll be a nice house for us. I will say, I think so.
How much? So tell me, break down this deal. Did you buy a piece of land, and is that the way you went, or was it an existing home and you're tearing it down and building?
So we actually, we've done this a couple times now. We bought a couple houses that we planned on just being flips and ended up tearing them down, which is a little tough financially sometimes. But we look at it from an aspect of, you know, longevity for the most part and quality of builds. We really don't like to just slap lipstick on a pig for our projects. You know, that's kind of what sets us apart from a lot of the other flippers and builders in town. I would say is that we really try to do a lot nicer, more quality work. You know, we don't necessarily at this point in time have the capital to do 20, 30 flips a year. Although that's where we're headed and where we're trying to go. But we do, you know, a quarter of that sort of thing. And so we want to make our projects really stand out so that people know, hey, we're buying a Helikson Homes build. You know, we know that they're going to be a quality build. You know, it's going to, you know, have all the cool amenities, all the cool, nice stuff and touches, all that good stuff. You know, but they know that it's going to be a better build than what you might buy from somebody else, you know, because a lot of these people around here do cut corners and a lot of builders everywhere, I guess, cut corners and that sort of thing. So we definitely try to be on top of it. But yeah, anyways, we tore it down to the ground, did about a 1,200 square foot addition. And then obviously we're going to be building the ADU also. So our Eugene is very based in like the valley. So we have hills to the southern side and to the northern side. And then to the eastern side, you got kind of, the other town. And then to the western side, you got kind of the wetlands. So like we're kind of contained on where you can actually build as far as new construction goes. And so we, you know, for the areas that we like to be in that are still, you know, kind of, we're still in the young age. So we like to still be around kind of what's popping and be able to go down and, you know, be close to the downtown area and close to the, you know, whatever, all the lively spots of town. So that's kind of the only benefit of doing these teardowns is you buy just kind of the crummiest house, shittiest house around and knock her down and build something a lot nicer.
Yeah, that's smart. So how far away from, let's say, your downtown are you?
Probably 6-7 minutes.
Yeah, real close. Yeah, 5-6
Yeah,
minutes.
Long term, if you guys just keep doing this scenario, it could be set up pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, Eugene's definitely growing. I mean, we're definitely a big college-based town. You know, I mean, the University of Oregon is a huge part of this area. You know, especially with football and the athletics and all that sort of good stuff. So, I mean, it's huge growing. I mean, the campus population in the last 15, 20 years has like doubled. So, I mean, you know, there's a lot more people coming into town, a lot more people moving into town. It's definitely a growing area for sure. So, I mean, that's kind of our goal is to keep some of these properties and hold on to them, and, you know, use it to kind of build our portfolio of stuff and you know, grow that way.
Yeah, just about the last 5 years, they built about like 7 or 8 new 12, 13-story apartment complexes right around our neighborhood. So we try to keep an eye on that to see, hey, well, you know, the guys with all the money are building here. Maybe we should try and get our little spot while we can too, you know.
Absolutely. They're doing all the market research for you guys. Once you see it go up, then you just know it makes sense. I was just going to ask you that too about like the student housing. Is that a thing? Is multi-units a smart move out there?
Just like Larson was saying, I mean, there's some for Eugene standards, some massive buildings going up, probably 300-400 unit buildings, and big, what we would consider kind of the skyscrapers of Eugene sort of thing, the biggest buildings around for sure. Because before, I mean, as I was saying, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, there was really the student housing was just the dorms pretty much on campus and that sort of thing. And there wasn't a whole lot else. You had all the neighborhood houses and that sort of thing. But now it's a ton of apartments and just everything's growing up. Eugene's definitely growing up rather than out,
right.
And that sort of thing. So that's kind of what he was saying, kind of what we've been watching and trying to follow it behind the footsteps of the people that are spending the, $100 million on the projects, and if they're doing it, there must be something they're doing right. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And that everything happens for a reason as time goes on, that could be you guys.
That's the goal. Eventually.
You know what I mean? You just don't know. You start to see it and you naturally, I mean, you're already, how old are you guys?
I'm 23.
I'm 20.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Great. Good for you guys.
Appreciate it.
I know sometimes running businesses, you're grinding it out and you got all these things going on left and right that sometimes you miss, seeing the growth that you're getting, but people from the outside see in, and you keep this direction and keep a level head, both of you'll do good. Real estate's one of those, like you stay with it for a long period of time and it pays off big time. Especially if you get these properties, you hold on to 10 to 15 properties at 20, they're going to be paid off by the time you're 40.
Mm-hmm.
If you think about it, right? And somebody's going to be paying the mortgage and, you'll have cash flow and appreciation and depreciation, all the tax benefits. Yeah.
I have a question for you. I have a question for you, actually. So what have you seen? Obviously, we kind of do a lot of social media stuff as far as advertising and that sort of stuff. But as far as the real estate stuff goes, what have you found to be like, the most beneficial marketing tool? Because one of the houses we just finished, I have on the market right now for sale. And, as you know, with the rates and the prices of everything and all that sort of stuff, it's pretty slow, at least around here for sure. A lot of houses just sitting. And, I've tried a lot of different out of the box kind of marketing techniques and tools. And obviously maybe try to use the benefit of our social media as much as possible. But what kind of have you seen like you success with and kind of that sort of stuff?
Mostly the sponsored ads on Instagram, Facebook ads, targeted Facebook ads, definitely will do it. But that's typically what we're doing. For our properties. Are you doing that on yours?
Yeah, we definitely had been. I was really trying to target kind of out of Eugene area people because, the house that we just finished building is, it doesn't necessarily sit as your standard Eugene style home. It's a very modern style build that we did. It has a lot of different touches that you don't see around here. So I was, looking at kind of the West Coast hubs of cities, Seattle, Portland, Bend, Bay Area, LA, Phoenix, all that kind of sort of stuff. Kind of trying to market towards those areas to try to get somebody that, hey, we're moving away from, this area for whatever reason, moving here. So, this would be a great opportunity. So that was kind of my idea behind doing that. But yeah, a lot of the Facebook ads, Instagram ads, that sort of thing, trying to get people that are from out of the area, kind of bringing them in, or at least bring eyeballs to the opportunity for that. Because I know we have seen a pretty good, as far as Oregon goes, I think we're the number 2 city that's been moved into in 2022, 2023. So, we're seeing the biggest influx of people in the state. And so we've been trying to, capitalize on
them that are coming in there to see who's moving, where are they moving from?
Yeah,
Just California,
lot of
Texas,
California.
New York.
A lot of Californians. Yeah, we've seen a fair amount of New York, a fair amount of Texas. Actually, I've been trying to stay up on all the new studies that they're doing. Showing where people are from.
Migrations.
A lot of people from Hawaii, actually, and a lot of people from like Denver area. So we've seen kind of a lot of different areas, kind of all over, pretty sporadic, honestly, and all pretty evenly based. Kind of different areas. So. A lot of California. I mean, California is definitely the number one. Bay Area is like kind of the number one. Orange County, Bay Area is kind of the two hubs that have been seemingly shifting up towards Eugene.
Is Oregon the same way as like Idaho when it comes to? It seems like people that move from California, no matter where they go, the people get pissed off. It's like
we're not quite that bad. It seems like to me. I mean, I don't know. I don't think it as much. People are pretty. I don't know. People are pretty relaxed around here. I think a lot of people actually would like to see Eugene become a bigger hub. I mean, Oregon just doesn't really have that many big city type, vibes, except for Portland. And Portland, is just so different, so odd in so many ways. And so, you think a little bit, Eugene still has some of those qualities, but it's a little bit more settled down.
A little toned down from Portland, I would say.
Yeah.
And I don't think people get too angry when people move here. I know I welcome it. I think more people should move here. I think it's a beautiful state. And I think it's a great city here. I mean, the landscape is great. It's never too hot. It's never too cold in winters. And I mean, it's always green around here. So I love it. But I think people should move to Oregon. I think it's a great state.
What do you guys, what are your guys' outdoor activities? What do you like to do?
So we both like to golf. We both like to fish. I don't know what else to like do. What else do you like?
Yeah, I mean, golfing and fishing definitely takes up a good amount of time. We like to go, we like to go. So we're about an hour from the coast. So, we'll go out sometimes and go run around on the beach, take our trucks out to the beach, razors, all that sort of stuff to the beach. And then we're about an hour and a half to the mountain. So going skiing, heading over to Mount Bachelor and hitting the snow and hit the slopes, in the wintertime when we get snow. I mean, unfortunately, we've kind of been lately. It seems like the last couple of years we haven't got a very big snow season, but yeah. So we'll go do that, and year round we'll try to play as much golf as we can when it's nice outside, and we've got a couple buddies that do a lot of fishing, and so thankfully they take us out fishing and do some fun fishing. We have a great steelhead salmon run around here, pretty much all year round. You can fish for either one, and so yeah, we've got that going on. So yeah, it's kind of a mix of a lot of different activities, a lot of different fun. We love to go to the Duck football games when the Ducks are playing, all the Duck athletics actually, but the football games are kind of on the top of the list. So we love to kind of show support for that too. And that's a lot of fun most of the time.
I didn't know that Eugene was so close to the coast.
Yeah. So we're not very far. Yeah. Even if you're ripping it fast, you're 45 minutes, 50 minutes there.
Interesting. That's similar. So I live in San Jose, and Santa Cruz is, on a fast day, 35 minutes, slow day, maybe 45, and I think I love having that kind of option to kind of be in the valley, get the mountains, and then can be at the beach too.
Exactly.
There's a huge benefit to that. I mean, especially in California, it's expensive to live here. You have to grind it out unless you work in tech, but we pay to have the weather and the amenities. I mean, we just have a lot of great things to do around us. So it's really hard to leave for, a more cost-effective area to live and leave that behind. I just don't know another place that would, compare.
Yeah.
In my eyes.
Total. Yeah. What is like the cost of your average home out there right now? Or
an average home?
Yeah, like average home, like something that
3-2?
Yeah, like
3-2?
3-2. Yeah.
Like not even fixed up, original, 1.4, 1.5.
Oh wow.
Yeah, well, that is pretty. That is crazy.
Yeah. About 1.5 for a 1,200 square foot, original, maybe a little bit remodeled over the years in Willow Glen. Would go for that on a nice street.
Yeah.
Just depends on locations. San Jose is a really big area, and there's just all these different little micro markets. You have East San Jose, you got North, you got West, you got Willow Glen, you got Cambrian. So they're all their little different price points, so to speak, depending on schools and, location of downtown. So, but Silicon Valley, the coast, it's pricey.
Yeah.
Everything's pricey. One thing, I don't know if this is something you guys are allowed to do in Oregon, but we just passed AB 1033, which it allows us to, let's say you got a single family home, you build an ADU, you can now take that ADU and sell it as a condo.
We've been actually looking into that. I don't think Eugene's passed that yet, like that kind of city code sort of thing. But we've been looking into that because they're allowing a lot of multifamily, and they're calling it middle housing kind of new projects that pretty much allow you to just build the entire lot of your property can just be, housing sort of thing. And it's because we don't have that area to spread out, we really need to build up or build, bigger on what we got, as far as the city of Eugene goes. So it's definitely something we've been trying to take advantage of and look into, as soon as possible to really, make our projects as beneficial to us as we can.
I would fully encourage you guys to really, explore that, from time to time and keep that, in the back of your head. I think it would be another source of revenue and growth.
Mm-hmm.
You get the flips going, you got your clients, your long-term clients that you deal with, on a yearly basis. And then you're building out this other type of, investment that, is going to pay you. One, it's going to help you reduce your taxes. That's going to be a big one for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
You get the cash flow and it's going to get the appreciation. So it's a big play right now. A lot of the contractors that, I know, we're just all fired up trying to figure out how we're going to take and do the highest use per lot. Meaning if we got a 2-1 900 square foot home on a 9,000 square foot lot, what is the highest use we could do? Well, what is the maximum we can do to this lot? How many units can we put on it? Now, not everyone is a fan of this type of scenario. That's for sure. A lot of people don't even want ADUs in Silicon Valley. They just, they think it's, bringing down the neighborhood, it's congestion with cars. And, a lot of the things that homeowners thought were going to happen didn't, because I think that not everyone's going to build their lot out. Not everyone's going to do it. There's going to be some that do. Some of it makes sense in some areas, but we're really looking at properties now where what's the most we can do? The condo, selling off the ADU as a condo is really intriguing as well, because if you think about it, if I bought a house in the Cambrian area of San Jose and I built a 2-1, 2-2 1,000 square foot ADU, I know for a fact it's going to cost $350 to $400, give or take.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I know what a condo goes for in that location, and it's definitely not 400, 500,000.
Yeah.
And you're talking in a neighborhood. Now you have a neighborhood, you don't have neighbors, so to speak. You're not, packed on to people. You're in, you have parking, and possibly you'll have a good school district. I think people are going to start really doing this and selling them off where you can afford to buy a brand new construction for $700,000.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would do that all day long and be in a nice neighborhood. So we'll see where it goes. This year is going to really tell everybody what's going on. That's for sure. So
for a lot of your guys' ADUs, are they like for the one we're currently working on the property that we just bought? We have alley access on the back side of the property, and then on the front. So we have the front of the house will be street access, and then the alley, the ADU will essentially, the front will face the alley. They're kind of back to back sort of thing. And that's kind of been what we've seen for the most part. For for some customers who want to use them as like personal, like mother-in-law suites or that sort of thing, we will just build them on like back down driveways or whatever. Or sometimes we'll do them attached to like above garages, kind of there's all sorts of different stuff kind of that we've done. But we've seen for the most part, the most efficient way that like something like selling it off for like the condo and that side of things, would be the alley access. So what does your guys' look like down there as far as how does the ADU situation look like on that side of things?
So I think it's going to be tricky. Here's a good example. I have a listing in Santa Cruz right now. And it is a 100-year-old home, and it's set closer to the sidewalk, right? It's on a 7,200 square foot lot, all backyards, all dirt right now. And it doesn't have a garage. So you can basically pave from the front of the house to the back. The neighbor to the right has the same size lot, same dimensions for the most part. And they have a 2-story duplex in the back.
Gotcha.
But there's plenty of room that they could have another junior ADU attached to their main house as well. So whoever had the back unit could just, go up the driveway and get into the back. There's plenty of space there. I think it's going to work for some properties, and in some properties it won't. Corner lots. Now, corner lots, that's a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Because the privacy, you can fence off the backyard. The side could be their entrance. They can park their cars there. If they got 2 cars or 1 car, and then they can access it. It's more private. I think when it's going to get tricky is when it's literally you're walking on the side of their house. You're just going to have to understand you're going to have neighbors. But some of the people that have been reaching out to me are some of my older clients, my boomer clients that want to move away. They're going to move to Arizona, and they're equity rich, right? They own their house outright, $1.4 million in cash is sitting in their house. They want to retire, but some of them want to retire, but they don't want to lose their house in California either.
Mm-hmm.
So now they want to build the ADU, right? Sell off the main house and keep the ADU so that they can come back to California.
Yeah.
So
I think there's definitely endless opportunities with it. I love it. I mean, I think another thing that I've noticed around here, and I'm not sure kind of what, how that compares to down there, but, we've seen that a lot of people are less inclined to have big yards and maintenance landscape and all that other sort of stuff. And they'd rather have outdoor living space, but especially around here, covered outdoor living space is a huge thing because of all the rain. But outdoor living space, like outdoor kitchens, outdoor kind of TV, couch, fireplace, all that sort of good stuff. Rather than have the big, open kind of grassy backyard. And so building an ADU, wouldn't really affect a lot of people because, hey, that's just, less lawn I have to mow, or that's less, plants I have to take care of or whatever. And so it seems like to me, a lot of people around here, especially the people that are coming in, they want low maintenance landscapes with as much house as possible and as much, potential, living space as possible, whether some of that could be outside or not. But that's kind of what I've noticed and kind of what we try to take advantage of on these most recent projects we've been working on is, obviously we like to have a little grass so that people can have dogs or people can have pets and that sort of thing.
Yeah, definitely.
But otherwise, as much living space as possible, because that's kind of just been a huge thing around that we've noticed is people aren't necessarily super into the yards, aren't super into having to take care of everything and all that sort of stuff.
So here's an interesting thought here. You were explaining the type of outdoor amenities, the covered, the TVs and everything. And the first thing I thought about was your walkthrough of that house. It's exactly what you just said, correct?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's pretty wild, right? Like you said that, and I'm remembering your video walkthrough, especially when you went outside. But the best was when you're in the bathroom, and you were talking about you're making some reference. I'm like, oh man, this guy's crazy.
Yeah, let's talk about
I like him.
The 40-year-old virgin or something like that. The movie, yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, I think it's like people want to be able to look at stuff and smile and laugh and find enjoyment out of things that might not necessarily be enjoyable, that might be, more or less kind of just boring otherwise. So we've tried to just figure out ways to try to just amplify anything we can to make stuff as memorable as possible and stuff as unique as possible, because, uniqueness has kind of been our goal and kind of been our niche, because we have tried to find something that works and something that's kind of, continually going to be able to be something we can grow on.
How do you figure out your design inspiration? Like, how do you come about that on a property? Are you using software? Are you looking at things online, or what's that creative process look like?
It's a lot of looking online. So we don't have any software. We worked with designers in the past. Our designs in the past haven't been, 100% great. They haven't given us inside, this color, all that stuff. So it's almost everything online. We'll work together sometimes, or we'll bounce ideas back and forth. I'll send Carter a picture, he'll send me something, but almost everything online. We'll go into some stores here and there, just to see, if they got anything new, just to maybe spark some ideas. But I'd say almost 95% we go online, we look, we find something we like, find something that will work for, this neighborhood or just something that we really enjoy. And then we'll just do that.
Are people talking about the type of work you're doing?
I would like to say yes. I mean, we get a lot of compliments on a lot of things. I think me and Larson have talked about is actually, kind of looking into potentially opening up, kind of a store around here that would carry some more of these products, because so much of the stuff we do is 100% online. I have people come in all the time. Oh man, those lights must have been, $1,000 for pendant lights. Some, and maybe we spent $200 on them or something. But that we just pick stuff that's a lot more out of the box and different than so much stuff around here. I mean, I try to tour 2 or 3 houses a week, and Larson comes with me a lot of the time. Just to be able to keep my finger on the pulse of like what other people are doing, what are the other builders doing, how are these. And so much stuff is just extremely cookie cutter and extremely just kind of bland and vanilla, and just there's no sauce to it. There's nothing special. It's just it's all kind of just boring for the most part. I mean, and people do a lot of really nice stuff, and I'm not saying there's not other nice houses around, because there most certainly is, but everything is very similar. You can go into some of these nicer neighborhoods and you walk into 10 different houses, and they're going to have all the same finishes, all the same colors for the most part, just kind of set up differently,
Right.
So it's a lot of these builders do a lot of great stuff and all that sort of thing, but there's so many unique things that are out there. And Larson will hop on Pinterest, hey, what do you think of this, what do you think of this? Or on TikTok has been a big one for us, like, hey, scrolling through TikTok and we see, hey, we love this idea, this could be really cool. And sometimes it works out great, sometimes it's kind of a not so good, but that's kind of the great part about it. We learn it with it, we work with it. And if we like how it works, we use it again. And if we don't, we kind of send it back to the shit can. But, it is what it is, kind of on that side of things.
Well, it's a learning process. And plus, you're not trying to play it safe. And that sometimes, there's some thought behind, playing it safe and doing what other builders are doing, because it's just, that it's going to probably get sold and people are going to like it and they can do their own little upgrades. But it's good to add some unique scenarios to it and try to push it out so that it kind of puts your own little signature on these properties, which that's what they look like, because I've seen them. And it's interesting too that it's funny, you use the same type of platforms. I'm building out a duplex out in Kansas City right now that I'm turning into a midterm rental. And it used to be an old estate, and a doctor owned it. And at some point it got turned into a duplex. And so I'm gutting it, top to bottom, but leaving all the original kind of character to it, the woodwork and all that, and trying to modernize it, but keep it looking original for the most part. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I start that process with Pinterest, and I'll just home in on sconces, and I'll just play around and I'll throw it into that file. And then I'll move on to, repurposed wood wall art, and just start and I just put it together and then I send it over to my contractor and I go, all right, here's what I got going. Here's what I think, here's the tile I chose. I chose 3 different types and, patterns. Like, what do you think? And I think we have a lot of cool tools these days. Heck, TikTok as well.
Okay.
Man, you can find so much cool stuff on TikTok.
Yeah, no,
we've been kind of lucky enough to have, people send us a lot of their products and a lot of their, different things to try out, even if it's, we've honestly got a lot more tools than necessarily other products. But yeah, that's the great part about TikTok is people say, hey, we'll send you this, make a video, whatever, we want you to check it out, try it, whatnot. And so that's been really cool too, is we've seen a lot of stuff that we wouldn't necessarily get to try otherwise, or wouldn't have the opportunity to even know about, except for a lot of these smaller companies that are using, again, social media to kind of try and grow their brand and grow their business and all that good stuff. And so we definitely try to support that as much as we can too, because, I love being able to kind of just show the love for the smaller businesses and that sort of thing and all that sort of good stuff, rather than just going to the Home Depot or whatnot.
Yeah. And when you were saying that, I was like, oh, I can see this being big for you guys as well. I can see a lot of companies reaching out to you. I follow this guy, Sean Gates? He's super tatted out. His face is he's got a lot of tattoos on his face.
On TikTok. I think
TikTok.
He's in Arizona or something.
Yeah. And he like bought a piece of land and just did all the build out, but I don't know if he's a licensed contractor. I know he does bathroom remodels and he's jack of all trades when it comes to that. But, he had a tiny house put on his land, and that company, he was making content with them. But I've seen a lot of partnerships with what he does, tools, you name it. So I could definitely, you're going to be down that road too.
That's kind of our goal.
Yeah.
We've had a couple of people, reach out or lately trying to kind of, potentially look at doing some, kind of reality, I wouldn't call it reality, but non-scripted kind of TV stuff with us about the flips and everything. And so we're kind of looking into that as of recently, trying to think if that would be an opportunity we'd like to, expand on and that sort of thing. So, we're just trying to take everything one step at a time, and try not to get too ahead of ourselves and just see what we can do. And we definitely like to any opportunity that's presented to us, we like to try to seize it as much as possible. So, never turn anything down and never look at anything like that. So,
yeah, that's awesome. I think that's great, you guys. I appreciate you guys jumping on today. It's good to, get to talk to you guys. Sometimes on social media, you start to follow people, but you don't know any of the backstory. So it was great to get on here and to kind of hear what you guys got going on. And you guys definitely got a bright future. If you can stay focused, say no a lot.
Yeah.
Be my only advice.
Yeah.
Stay focused and say no a lot. So where can the audience find you guys?
You can find us on TikTok, on Instagram, on YouTube at Helikson Brothers. It's our last name and then Brothers.
Perfect. And I will put this into the show notes as well so that people can start to follow you guys, because I think you guys are doing some really cool stuff. I really appreciate you guys jumping on today. It's been great to hear your story, and best of luck. And I, definitely want to stay in contact. You piqued my interest on a couple of things that I'd like to talk to you guys later on too. I think would maybe be a smart investment move out there as well.
Yeah, no, we'd love to. Yeah, definitely would love to stay in touch, and we're, again, would love to keep in contact and talk business for sure.
Dude, is that your business sweatshirt you're wearing?
Yes, yeah. Got the brand
one of those.
Rocking the hats out. So, we like to keep it. I feel like that's pretty much my entire wardrobe now at this point. It's just our this is like
This was one of our first ones.
When we were doing landscaping and stuff still. So yeah,
it's cool.
Yeah,
I need one of those. I like it.
Yeah, we'll send one down to you.
Yeah, they stand out. All right, you guys. Well, thanks a lot. You guys have a good rest of your day. We'll definitely be in touch.
Awesome. Appreciate it.
Thank you for tuning into our show, where we hope you found inspiration and gained valuable insights. If you enjoyed this conversation and want to stay updated on our latest episodes, be sure to subscribe to our podcast and share it with others who might benefit from it. We appreciate your support and look forward to bringing you more candid conversations, and breakthrough moments in the future. Until next time, take care and keep exploring new ideas and strategies.